How are you doing? Quick video from Monday night here, guys. This is the Stanley machining vise that I picked up the other day for $5. Took it apart, cleaned it up. You can see the overall length is about 15 inches. 4-inch width on the jaws there. And you can see 99 4A, made in USA, back in the old days when Stanley was, you know, good quality or or better, anyways. So I'm really happy with this. It came out good, obviously. No issues at all. Movement is very smooth. I had to unfreeze it. It was seized up. It was rusty. You can see now it's perfectly smooth. The surfaces are pretty good. So I had to do a couple things to it, and I'll go over those with you real quick. This is sort of like a set screw. It doesn't make physical contact with the bolt here. But that was broke. The original one was broke, so I replaced that. And what that does is it comes down far enough to catch a little lip connected to this rod here. And when you go back this way with the rod, it catches the lip and then pulls this mechanism with it. So that's how that works. So I replaced that. It was a piece of cake. Obviously I have a bunch of hardware. Found a bolt, ground it down a little bit to get that as flush as possible on the top. Not bothered by it sticking up that little bit there. Perfectly fine. Anyways, let's flip it over. So these are pretty basic. It's got, you know, this piece here is removable and it has the two jaws. And basically, the portion that slides is held in place by this plate here. I don't know if you can get an angle on that. So that plate kind of slides on the edges there. So it's a real simple design. And these, you know, you leave it half turn loose. The tighter these are, the harder it is for that to slide. So they're a little loose. Now, one of the bolts was missing, and the other bolt I had to drill out actually. I heated it with a torch. I used impact. I tried everything to get that out. It wouldn't come out. Had to drill it out. So these bolts here, I already had. They fit in the countersink holes pretty well. I'm happy with that. So that's all I really had to do. I mean, besides the cleaning, I replaced these two bolts and then the set screw on the top. Very easy, very quick, relatively painless. You know, I did this kind of on my downtime, but very happy with the vise. I really like that logo there. I took the flapper wheel, the sanding disc, and I just that there and that, not the jaws, but the other two pieces here. I just kind of smoothed that out. There were a lot of nicks in there. Just a little touch up. I mean, I could go to town on this thing and make it perfect, but this is going to be a usable, a functional vise that I actually use. So let me snag the Craftsman one over here. It's going to get dark for a sec. So I'll show you. The Craftsman one is much smaller, but still plenty useful. I didn't even know this was a Craftsman until kind of late in the picture there, but you see the logo there? But that wasn't, you know, it doesn't really jump out at you. I didn't notice that until I was almost done with it. But so I got these two, and I got this cheap one here, and pardon the handle, it's just a rod in there, and I wrapped the ends with tape so it doesn't come out. I was in a hurry one day. This is the one that I actually use, or have been using. So I got the 3 now. I'll probably put this one on the back burner. This is a cheap one. I think it's, you know, foreign made. works well enough. What I don't like about it is that when you clamp an object, it rolls just the slightest amount. So anything you put in there, you have to account for that when you place it in. You got to kind of cock it a little bit. So don't like that. So anyways, yeah. So I'll go ahead and use the Stanley one as the biggest of the three. I'll probably use that one most. But I had the Craftsman one just sitting on the Atlas drill press. I got to get a couple of these drill presses in rotation here. I got, for the most part, I've been using the Delta and this Duracraft, and I've punished each of them, and they've held up well. But I have better machines. I have this old Dunlap. I know it's dark, and then obviously the Atlas. So I'm going to put a couple more of these in rotation, and we'll get these vices going. Super helpful when drilling, you need these are super helpful. I've used this one dozens of times. So that's that. The other thing is the shop vac that I got for $1. I mean, just look at this. This looks like it might have been purchased a year ago or less. I mean, it's you see it's white and black. It's got a couple little scuffs. $1? You gotta be kidding me. Check it out. It does run. So for $1, you really can't go wrong. It's a funny little story, but the guy... Like I said, the guy that sold me that bigger anvil is the one that the original owner of the shop vac, and so his parents had a house. They've had it for years, about a mile away from my house. They were kind of born and raised in that area. The father ended up strangling. He didn't get along with his wife. They had issues over the years. But they stayed together. They never got a divorce. But long story short, he ended up strangling her, killing her, hiding her body in a storage unit and everything else. This happened a few months ago. I mean, relatively recently. It was all over the news. But so the father is in prison, I think, at this point. I know he was in jail. I read the story. The mother obviously is no longer with us. The son must have inherited the house and all the contents, and he's just kind of blowing the stuff out the back door. Just crazy prices. I mean, the anvil was $40, shop vac $1, this vise $5. He's got 4 older grease guns, $5 for the the set of 4. It's just crazy, ridiculous prices. And I'm always on the lookout for his ads because he's very close to my house, and then the price is right. And actually, I knew the son. I went to school with him and everything else, so I've known him over the years. And I almost wanted to say something about his parents. Hey, sorry, but what do you say? But so he's getting rid of everything, and I'm taking advantage of it. I love buying used tools. I love getting deals on things, and it's stuff that I use. I don't just I don't buy stuff to resell it for the most part. I do sell stuff, don't get me wrong, but it has to be something that I won't ever use. I hoard before I sell. I work full time. I definitely don't need to sell all my stuff to get money, and I'm not just out to turn something over for profit. Typically, I'm just trying to find something to add to my collection. See the wall of files there? So that's it. I got this vise finished up. I got a couple other things going on. I got to finish these, where are they? I got to finish these vise handle knobs. So I'll probably get a little cracking on them a little bit. And I'm off tonight and tomorrow night. My work schedule fluctuates. I typically have two nights on, 2 off, 3 on, 3 off, and it goes in a rotation of Monday and Tuesday night off. I'll work Wednesday and Thursday night, and then I'll have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights off. Then I'll work Monday and Tuesday. The following week, have Wednesday and Thursday off, and then work that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then it goes back to the beginning there, Monday and Tuesday off, and so on. So it fluctuates. So I ended up working half the days in a year with full-time hours. My on week is 48 hours, and my off week is 36. My lunches are paid, so not a bad deal. I have a decent amount of time to pick stuff up and work on it. So that's probably it for now. I'm trying to think of anything else I could show you, but basically just the shop vac. And I got these brass pieces from work. So they throw out, you know, there's big containers full of stuff they chuck, and you know, there's useful tools in there. This is just a cheap Stanley flathead, but I grabbed it. You know, they're throwing this stuff away, so I just grab a little bit at a time. These are brass, some type of brass fittings, but you know, I have a brass hoard. And at some point, when I get enough of it to be worthwhile, excuse me, I'll bring it to the recycle place and return it and get some cash. So just snag that stuff from work. I got permission beforehand that I'm not just grabbing stuff and leaving with it. I inquired on it because there's this huge, they call them Gaylords, and they're just basically huge cardboard containers with a plastic base that the pallet jack can slide under, and they're pretty thick cardboard boxes, and you know, there's one of them, and it's just loaded up with things they're throwing out, and all it is it's tooling steel, all kinds of big Allen head bolts, large springs. I got some taps in the house that I snagged the other day. A brand new set of gear wrench snap ring pliers. I mean, you name it, they're throwing it out, and I just don't know why. And so I picked through it and snag stuff to bring home because I can use it, you know, before they go and scrap it. So if I had the means, I'd actually like to try to buy the whole thing. But you're talking about, it's probably 900 pounds worth of metal in this box. I mean, it's a massive box. It's probably a good 5 feet across and 5 feet, you know, the other way. So that's it. This video is getting kind of long. I'll let you go. I got to get back at it. Appreciate you guys, and I'll be sure to toss another video up at some point before I head back to work. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. Have a good night.